we have to check in with our friends Libs of TikTok. There is a TikTok that has gone viral of a young woman describing the national epidemic of fat phobia.
Let's talk about body preferences. I've heard a lot of talk like, oh, I don't hate fat people, but I'm not attracted to them and I don't want to date them. It's just my preference. Maybe in an ideal circumstance, in a world that was forever body neutral and did not demonize fat people, that could be a preference, maybe. But is there really such a thing as preference in a society that exclusively demonizes an option? Fat people are branded as disgusting, branded as something to be eliminated, unhygienic, lazy, XYZ, everything else. And we've received that messaging since we were born. Our culture is deeply rooted and entrenched in fat phobia. Chances are it's not just a preference, and you've just been taught to think fat people are gross.
Fat phobia. Everything is a phobia. The line here that really caught my attention is she said that we're taught that fat people need to be eliminated. So what are you talking about? Not even in the days of Michelle Obama, who really did seem to have a grudge against fat people. You know, her big initiative in the White House was taking away snacks from kids at lunch, taking away their little sweets in their school lunches and making them eat celery or whatever. But even in those days, I don't think anyone was calling for a genocide of fat people. Do you remember that? I don't remember that. Then I thought, what on earth could she mean by, she means that people who are overweight are encouraged to get into shape. That's what she means. But you're not being eliminated. You're just getting into shape. It's the same issue, actually, that we have with the transgenderism, which is the only way that fat people are being eliminated by being encouraged to get into shape is if their identity is fatness, which is a mistaken identity. That's not who you are. If plenty of people are overweight, plenty of people have some issue with their bodies, right? I guess basically everybody has some issue with their bodies. This is a fallen world. It's an imperfect world. Sometimes we're just born that way. You got a thyroid condition, you're a little bit bigger. Sometimes through our own habits, we eat a little too much, we're a little slothful, we don't work out, and these are problems, and you can try to work on these, and you need to accept the natural limits of a fallen world, but okay, maybe you can improve. So I know people who have lost a lot of weight and gotten into really good shape when they were not in very good shape before. It's not your identity. You, just like the transgender person, the identity of a man who thinks that he's a woman, of Stanley who thinks that he's Sheila, his true identity is not Sheila. His true identity is Stanley. It's not, the word phobia, it means an irrational fear. So you hear this about transphobia, all sorts of phobias, fat phobia. It's not every traditional preference is irrational. Not every standard is irrational. It's not irrational to think that a little boy who wants to become a girl should not mutilate himself and chop off his genitals. That's actually rational to think that he shouldn't do that. That's because there are standards. We can know things through reason. It's okay. And by the way, to have a standard doesn't mean that you're saying that everyone who falls short of that standard is evil. All men sin and fall short of the glory of God. This is an imperfect world. But if we don't have standards to strive toward, standards of the good, the true, and the beautiful, not the ugly and the wicked and the false and the standards that the left is pushing on us. If we don't have good, true standards to strive toward, our society is going to decay. That's what's going on around us. And a society that allows itself to do that is quite irrational indeed. I'm so glad you liked that clip. Now, please ring the bell. Subscribe. You can get all the notifications for our videos. And then head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your audio podcasts. Subscribe to The Michael Knowles Show. Leave a 5-star review if you wouldn't mind. We'll see you next time.